Deanna, and this is my hidradenitis suppurativa story, or more commonly known as HS. This condition affects roughly around 1% of the UK population, but seems to affect more Americans than it does people from the UK, or at least that's what research currently points to. Unfortunately for me, HS started when I was 8 years old. This meant I had one large red lump on my skin which simply didn't go away. This affected my ability to walk, get dressed, bath, and just simple day-to-day activities that a normal, able-bodied person would simply be able to do on their own. It is a difficult condition to handle, and this is what I want to try and help. I want to try and raise awareness for this condition and how it affects those day to day, because it affects those differently in each individual way. For some people, they might have a simple 9-to-5 job and manage the condition really well, whereas others might simply struggle with this day to day to the point that they physically cannot work. For me, currently, I can't work. I used to work, but I currently can't work due to this condition. There are a lot of staying still, which for me just isn't a thing. Like, I love moving about, exercising, keeping busy, but for this condition, it stops you. So I really like editing, so one of the things I like to do to pass my time now is I just sit and edit, because I can do that just from sitting still. I can take photos in a chair. Like, it is fully accessible for me and to me, and I can mend it and bend it as much as I want. And then that gives me the flexibility to be able to do new things rather than having to miss out on opportunities. Don't get me wrong, there's social events I have to miss out on, and there's also friend meetups that I can't do, and different kind of catch-ups and stuff like that I can't do because of my condition. It really does vary day to day on how I manage things and how I manage going forward from this. Now, 5 years from now, I do hopefully want more of an idea as to what my triggers are, whether it's a genetic thing or whether it's more like an undiagnosed food trigger, I don't know. But hopefully 5 years from now, when I look back on this, I will actually have more of an idea as to why this condition flares up as much as it does do. And hopefully this gives someone some inspiration as to maybe getting that appointment to get that diagnosis potentially, or pushing another doctor to be like, look, this might be what this condition is. At the end of the day, the condition isn't pretty and it never will be. But that is the solid hard truth of this. You will have scars, you will have skin tears and stuff, but unfortunately that just comes hand in hand with it. And that's something I have learned to come to terms with over the years. It's nothing to do with poor hygiene or poor lifestyle. Unfortunately, it's just something that happens. Whether it's genetics, some other people have food triggers that can mean that it is reoccurring. But again, there's not much research as to what's known about it. And unfortunately, doctors didn't really know what it was either. Like, I had different dermatologists have a look at me, different specialists, and no one could really understand what it was. Now, this eventually affected my ability to walk to the point that I was limping day in, day out. I was having difficulty sleeping, and I just couldn't manage day to day. Eventually, this swelling went down, and I was fine, or so I thought. 6 years later, it came back, and it came back with a vengeance. Unfortunately, it came back to roughly the size of a golf ball, and it got that bad to the point that I literally could not walk. I was bedbound for months. And eventually, I saw a GP that knew what this condition was. But what was shocking for me was that it was already diagnosed. Apparently, in that one of those appointments I had when I was 8 years old, I was already diagnosed with this condition. I just was not told. It was written down on my notes from years prior, and I was just never informed of it. And previous doctors didn't even really know what the condition was, or could tell me who had diagnosed me with it. So you can imagine the trauma this had caused and the upset this had caused with me, suffering with this condition, not knowing what it was, or if it was going to go away, or if it was going to come back, just to find that I already did have answers to my questions as to what this condition was and how it was affecting me. So you can just picture how traumatic that was growing up with. Personally, with HS, for me, I find that it's not your run-of-the-mill stereotypical condition. Like, one day I might seem fine, another day I might be completely bedbound to the point that I can't even get myself dressed. Like, for me, it's much more of a one-size-fits-all, really. Like, most people can be fine with eating different foods. Other people have food triggers such as tomatoes or potatoes. It really is dependent on who it is. Like, another common occurrence for this condition is people that might be overweight. Again, I'm not overweight. I don't smoke. I don't drink alcohol that much. So all these other stereotypical triggers that would be for other people, I don't have. So I'm thinking, personally, my own journey, that it might be more hormonal based. But again, there's no specific test for this, and there's no specific reasoning for this. It just might be that it is hormonal for me. But again, there's no specific answer as to what is causing it for me. Like, luckily for me, for the past few years, it's been more on the calmer side of things, but it still could literally change at the click of my fingers, to the point, again, that I'm in a lot of pain. And unfortunately, there isn't really an answer for this. The stereotypes for this condition you find are your most common stereotypes for most other medical conditions. So most doctor's advice you get is just simply stop smoking, stop drinking, stop eating unhealthily, but no one really looks at deep down what the issue might be. They give you all this advice on fix this, fix that, but if you don't do none of that in the first place, then you're all kind of lost in the sea almost, to the point that you're not really understanding what to do or what to do for the better. Like, I exercise as and when I can, I eat healthily as and when I can, but again, this is still a condition for me that comes back. Like, a lot of people say that it's just a matter of get extra sleep, or, you know, have a longer baths, things like that, but that's simply just not the case. For me, 90% of the time, I am fully bandaged. This is just to help prevent the abscesses chafing and getting larger due to friction. Other people might find that they have creams on constantly to try and help calm the inflammation down. But again, this doesn't always work, and it just might be a case of make do and mend, unfortunately.